We just got new information from Atlanta police in the death of the 8-year-old shot and killed over the July 4th weekend. What you're looking at now is who police say is the second person of interest they were looking for. Investigators released these surveillance photos of a man who appears to be carrying a long gun in the area of that shooting. Now, you might remember last week, Atlanta Crime Stoppers released these videos of the first person of interest. You see him here carrying an AR-15 outside a package store on Pryor Road. And that's where Secoriea Turner was shot and killed 2 weeks ago while sitting in her mom's car. Her mother was attempting to drive through barricades that were illegally placed in that area when police say a group of people approached them and shot into that car. There's a $20,000 reward for information in this case.